Hello and welcome back to this channel. In today's video, we're going to learn how to make this. That is basically, we're going to learn how to make text in a 3D format, isometric 3D format. I'll create a new file by going to File, a New. Let's make this 15 into 15 inches and CMYK. And let's make this medium and click Create. First, we're going to put our text. So I'm just going to click on text. And now I've used the text called as Blockhead and Unplugged. You can experiment at this stage and try to use different fonts here. Let me just put it at 150. I think that size would be enough. Let me just go ahead and click and drag it here. Double click this. And then I'm going to type hello, all in caps. And next, let me just copy and paste this. Click on your Option Alt key, click and drag to make one more, and double click this one. And let's make this subscribe. And one more, Option Alt, click and scroll down. And let's make this like. And I think we had one more, so make this YouTube. All right. So go back to your selection tool and arrange them. Now click and select everything and go to Align. If you cannot see it, go to Window and then Align. And here press Center, Horizontal Align Center. And now let's click outside. Okay, so once our text is laid out, we're going to use and go ahead and make these rectangle boxes. To do that, go to your rectangle tool. If you cannot see it, it's right click and then rectangle. Now click and drag to make a rectangle. It should be big enough to cover all the text. So I'm just going to drag it in here and then click on center align so that it's center. I'll just give it a yellow color so that it's bright and visible. And I'll send it to back. That is Command Shift and open square bracket and it goes to back. Now I'll go back to my selection tool. Click on the rectangle. Hold your Option key down or Alt key down, Shift and drag to make a copy. Now press Command D to make two more copies. Now we have all our copies ready. And now let's just click on this and then press center so that it's aligned. Again, this and the rectangle and press center. And now I can see that it's not really in the center. If you cannot figure that out, go ahead and click on the rectangle and let's choose the different color that we have chosen here. That's blue color. Okay. And then for the next one, we have the same yellow color. So I'm just going to keep it like that. But I see that the like button is not in the center. Okay. And for YouTube, we had, okay, for like, we had pinkish. And for this one, we had an orange. Okay. Now you can see if the text is in the center of the box. So let's just go ahead and move this a little bit so that it looks like it's pretty much in the center. Okay, all right, this looks perfectly fine to me. And now let's go ahead and select the first one. I'll change the yellow to nicer, brighter. Okay, click on the yellow box and hold your Shift key and click on the text. Okay, go to Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. So you get this pop-up thingy and click on Preview right here and you can see what's happening here. The first thing we're going to do is change this to 0 point because we don't want it to be repeating so much. You can uncheck and check this back and it'll show you how it looks like. And next is to go ahead and do this as isometric top because this is going to be on the topmost level. And on the surface, you have different things here like wireframe and diffuse shading and plastic shading. And we're just going to go ahead and click on no shading because we want our bright colors to be the way it is. This looks fine. Now click on OK. And we're going to do the same thing to subscribe. Let's go ahead and click on both the things. Go to Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. And again, no shading. Make this into 0. And here we're going to go ahead and make this as, I think it's right. Let's just check it. Click on Preview. Now, it's supposed to be left. And this is exactly what we want. Click OK. Let's do the same thing to this one. In here, it's going to be again the first as hello because we are trying to make steps, as you can remember, and click OK. And this one, it's going to be something very similar to subscribe button. So go to Effect, 0, preview, and let's give this no shading, left. Alright, I think we have everything set, so click OK. Now we're going to go ahead and arrange them so that they are in perfect sync with each other. You can use your arrow keys to do that if they don't align well. It's a bit annoying to arrange things because, as you can see, you need to select the rectangle as well. I know it would be easier to group them together before moving around, but if you do that, there's something we're supposed to do after this step, and that is going to mess that up. Okay, so I guess our steps are ready, and now it's time to add some effect to the text. You could leave it right here and this one still look good, but I'm just going to go ahead and make something different. So select the text, and now we're going to go ahead and give it some color. So I'm just going to give the fill color as the color that the rectangle already has, something like this. But for the stroke, I'm going to give a different color, usually something that will kind of match. So now I'll go to Effect, Distort and Transform, Transform. And here I'll give about 10 copies. Let's just see how it looks. Let's click on preview. And here in the vertical, you can try to increase this. And you can see how it has increased the steps or the number of times the alphabet is repeated in this direction. And let's just click on OK. 10 should be fine. You can try doing 15 and you can just uncheck it and check it out. So you can see that it gives much more depth to the alphabet. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it 10. Because I think that's all I need right now. And I'll just copy this number because I want to do the same thing for this like over here, and click OK. So for the stroke here, it looks very thin. So I'm just going to go back, and since the stroke is selected, I'll go to my stroke. If you cannot find stroke, it's in window and then stroke. Let's just change it to 2 point and see how it looks. It looks pretty okay to me. So I'll go back, select the text and move it a little bit up so that it is somewhat centered in here. Or let's just make it 1.5. Okay, yeah, this looks fine to me. Now I'll go back to like and do the same thing. That is distort and transform. And I'm just going to paste the number that I copied and give in here 10. And look at preview and click OK. And that's because we have to go back, select the color, that's pink. And then for this one, I'll just select yellow just to make it look nicer. And this one, we'll just change it to 1.5. And that's cool. Okay, now it's time to arrange the other two. So I'll just go to the subscribe and go to Effect and Transform. Here it's a bit of a different issue. So I'll just give 10 as we've already done. Click on Preview. Nothing happens. Now if I move this, you can see it moves in a completely different direction. So as with this one. So I'm just going to set it back to 0. And over here, I'm just going to type in the number that I've copied. Just click on preview. And this is how it looks like. And this is somewhat what we need. So I'm going to click on OK and change the font color to this. And the background to black. And you can see we've got what we've required. So I'm just going to stroke and change this to 1.5 and click OK. This looks fine. I'll arrange it so that it is somewhat in the center. That's exactly what I've done here, but I've used the opposite colors. So what I did for this was I just switched it up and you can see it looks completely different. You could do this as well. It is perfectly okay. Let me do this. Okay. So this looks like that. If I do for hello. Yeah. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing to YouTube. It's the same exact thing that we did for subscribe because the effect is going to be same. So I'll just go to that. Type in your number here. And let's give this black and this one is the orange. Okay, so our main thing is ready. Just click and select everything and press Command G to group them together. I'll just press center and then center. so that it's centered in the right in between. And next I'll go to my rectangle tool, click and hold and make a square a little smaller. Keep it center and send it to back by pressing Command Shift and open square bracket. And this one, let's color it something different. Remove the stroke, go to your fill and give it the color that you want. So in here what I did was I put 2 extra planes here so that it feels like it's really on a step. So we're going to do exactly that. So I'm just going to click on my square and click and hold my Shift key and then make a square. And let's give this yellow. Go to Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. So we're going to do this isometric left. Click on Preview. Alright, I keep messing this up all the time. So click this and make it 0. Let's go back. If you want to go back to the setting, you can click on Appearance, which you can also find under Window and Appearance. So here you can see this 3D extrude and bevel. So just click on that. And then here you can just go ahead and say no shading, preview. And then everything seems all right. Click OK. Let's just move this up a little bit so that it goes and matches. And now hold your Shift key and drag it a little bit to make sure that it matches the size. We have to do this only once. Click outside. Press V on your keyboard to go back to selection tool and click outside. Okay, so this seems fine. So I'm just going to make another copy. Hold your Option key down, click and drag and then place it here. And then let's arrange it so that it goes and sits nicely in the plane over here. So I'm just going to click these two, holding my Shift key down, and for stroke I'm going to give black because I want it to be more evident. And now what I did in my earlier pictures over here is I gave a little bit of shadow to these boxes. Why? I don't know, but I just did. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the thing and press Command, Shift and G so that we ungroup it. So now each thing is an external box. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll my cursor until I can see the boxes and then select them. And then I'm going to use my Shift key to select all 3 of them. Go to Effect, Stylize, and then drop shadow. Click on X offset and make it -0.3 and click OK. And click outside and you have your shadows also ready. So next point is to arrange it so that it's somewhat in the corner, in the center. So this is pretty easy to do. I already made this. So I'm just going to click and select everything and unclick on the rectangle so that it's now Command G to group them together because I think it's fine. Now click and hold your Shift key and drag to make it a lot more bigger. I think this should be all right. So let's just move it a little bit so that it is a little bit outside the box. This looks fine. And now we have the box here. And if you click outside, you can see that there's this kind of a 3D effect to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and make some squares and color them different colors that we have used already. So I guess that's all. We are done, and this is how you create this 3D kind of an effect and create text on different planes. So I hope you like this tutorial, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. I will post the color codes in the description box below. You can go pick it up from there. And I would love to see what you create with this because you can do so many things with this. I usually use a retro kind of an effect with this. So I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching.